Joining us from Columbia, head coach Megan Griffith, student athletes Kitty Henderson and Abby Shue. We'll begin with an opening statement from coach, followed by questions for the student athletes, and then followed by questions for coach. Coach?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to thank the whole Columbia administration and all the people that came out to support us. I mean, it's the most electric environment in Ivy Madness that we've ever had. And I thought our staff did a phenomenal job making sure that that happened. So major thank you to them. You know, I think there's no secret, that I feel we should be playing in the NCAA tournament. I think, again, it's like we're in the same exact spot we were last year, almost identical spot. We were the first team out, essentially, last year. And we go to the final of the WNIT against Kansas, at Kansas, lose by 6 or 7. There's no other mid-major teams even on the bubble or in the conversation for the bubble. What are we doing to grow the game? The NCAA talks about wanting to grow the game. And if we just consistently put SEC teams in that are 17 or 15 and 14 or, gotten beat by everybody in the SEC because that conference isn't very good. They just beat each other except for USC and LSU. What are we doing for the game? And I think this is the time of the committee. I hope you're listening. I hope whoever's watching this. We've won 21 of our last 23 games. We won 11 straight heading into this. We beat Princeton when they were ranked top 25 in the country. We did everything we could to build a resume. We played teams with a new team. We had 7 graduating seniors last year. We completely rebuilt a roster. We're being penalized for needing to schedule games when people don't want to play us. I try to play St. John's. I try to play Rutgers. I try to play any local mid-Power 5 team or good mid-major team. I can't even get them on our schedule. So whose fault is that? It's not ours, unfortunately, and we've been competitive every single loss. Duke, who actually came to play us, we lost by 4. That was a possession game. We lost at Princeton, obviously. Stony Brook's about to win the CAA tomorrow, going to the NCAA tournament. And then our 2 competitive losses against Florida and Georgia in the Bahamas on neutral court. We've shared the regular season championship with Princeton 2 years in a row, who's a tournament team that's proven to win games in the NCAA tournament. I can't say enough about Abby Shue. She's one of the best players in the country. And she needs to be seen, and I really hope the committee gives her and this team a chance, because if we just keep being in this spot, we're not growing the game. So, thank you.
Questions for the student athletes? Right here on the left.
Hey y'all, Jen Hatfield with the Next. Abby, Kitty, I know it's a tough question, but can you just kind of walk me through what you're feeling right now and how you kind of process this?
Yeah, I'm just a bit empty. Feel anger and I love playing in a Columbia uniform. I love playing along these players, but I'm just a little disappointed because that wasn't Columbia basketball out there. But yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, I feel pretty similar. I'm disappointed in myself, obviously, because I definitely could have given us more today. And Abby gave us everything, as she always does. So yeah, I feel pretty bad right now, but I'm going to do everything I can with my team.
Abby, when you say it wasn't Columbia basketball, what were some of the things that you didn't see, that you didn't like out there?
Yeah, from myself and my teammates, there was no one person who did good. We're not repping Columbia as the fullest as we should, but it kind of just felt like we got outsmarted. We weren't using our heads out there. I believe we have the best coaching staff in the country. They put together the best plan to beat this team, and we as players did not execute. And just out-tussled. We let that get in the way of us staying connected throughout the whole game. No.
Questions for the student athletes? On the right.
Steve Silverman, Ivy Hoops Online. on the positive side, you guys broke the all-time program record for consecutive wins, 11 wins yesterday. How do you feel about setting that legacy for Columbia basketball?
Like Coach G mentioned, I mean, we're a great program. I think that statistic just mentioned there, yeah, did we have a hiccup tonight? But we've proven over and over again that we're a team to be talked about. We're setting records in our own book and around the country. So I think what you just said kind of proves that. And yeah, we have things to work on, but I do believe we're one of the best teams in the country when we play Columbia basketball.
Question right here in the middle.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. Abby, last year there were a couple times I was talking to Coach about the rumors that Jordan Dingle was going to be looking elsewhere for a variety of reasons. And I asked her, you think Abby's going anywhere? And each time she would look at me and go, no way, not leaving. I just would like you to take a few moments, if you can, to kind of talk about your commitment to the coach and to this program.
Yeah. As soon as I decided to come here, I fell in love with this program, with this coaching staff. Coach, she didn't only make a commitment to me, but she made a commitment to my parents and my family. And I thought it was the least I could do to stay loyal to this program. And there was no other program or other coach or coaching staff around the country that I'd want to play for besides this woman to the left of me. And she's made me a better player and better person. And I'm so happy I've made the decision I did with my gap year and coming here and playing in a Columbia uniform. I wouldn't change it any other way. No.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Far left, second row.
And Adler, the next. Abby, I wanted to ask, I know this is obviously not how you wanted your last Ivy League conference game to go, but, even as this being a repeat of, last year not being able to come away with the title, what does it mean to you to have been able to, even through this result, do it alongside players like Kitty, alongside people who you've been here before with, like Meg, like Cecilia, and be able to build that there?
Yeah, I mean, I consider Kitty a sister. I mean, all the players I've played with, I consider them family. Even the new players that we got this year, like, we've grown so much. We've been battle tested together. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. So to do the things that we did along those players, it means a lot. Today sucks, but I still wouldn't trade a uniform with anybody else or any other teammate in the world. So.
In moments like these, going back into the locker room and obviously feeling how you all are as a team, what does that do for you sort of individually, and sort of to know that these are the people you've been with and getting here for the past couple of weeks?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Going back to the locker room and just sharing sort of that feeling, what does that do for you?
I mean, yeah, I think it brings us closer. We all care so much. There's not one person on this team that doesn't care. So I think right now we're just sharing that pain. There's a lot of anger. And yeah, I don't know how else to answer that question yet. We're still processing it. So.
One more for Kitty or Abby. Back row, left.
Brian Lee, Columbia Daily Spectator. Given that Selection Sunday is tomorrow and there's a quick turnaround time before you look at the postseason, how do you take the time to balance processing the loss and learning those lessons while also looking ahead and preparing for whatever comes next in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I mean, could you do
we have to process this loss tonight. And tomorrow morning, we have to come back together and attack whatever is ahead of us. As Coach G said, and as Abby said, we believe we are an NCAA team. So we will be watching that together, and we're going to attack whatever happens.
Kitty, Abby, thank you. Questions for Coach? Right here up front.
Hey, Megan, Doug Farmer, the AP. Was Princeton doing anything differently than the last time you saw? I mean, it just seemed like you guys had so much trouble getting easy baskets on the offensive end, and it seemed they were doing pretty well on the defensive end against you, and then they were scoring shots that they maybe weren't hitting the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think they amped up their pressure, and I don't know, I mean, I think they played underneath us a little bit more than we've seen at times when we got deeper into like the paint. So I think there were some small tweaks schematically about what they did, but overall, I didn't think our pace was very good. I mean, we had some, it's not like the beginning of the game, it was just like opened up, right? I mean, it was a game until later in that second half. And honestly, like the lack of stops to get easy scores is really what hurt us. I think our coverages were just, that was where we got screwed up a lot, whether it was in handoffs or ball screens, and we just didn't do that in game 2. I thought we really were able to execute our defensive game plan. So we just out of rhythm offensively, and then it's when you're trying to put something together late in the game, we were missing layups that we don't usually miss, and it felt like the rims were real tight then. So, I think we let it be too easy for them early, and that gave them a lot of confidence to ramp up their style, both ends.
Question here on the left.
Just kind of following up on that, was there kind of a breaking point that that they did maybe a play, or was it more of like a slow roll that just kept getting away from you a little bit?
The latter, in my opinion. I think that at no point did I think that we wouldn't be able to make a run back into that game. And I think at the end, even when we were pressing, I was like, hey, like, you got to string together. It can't just be training buckets at that point. I just think they were too comfortable from early on in the game. And it was like we would score, and then they would score. Or we would score, we'd get a stop, and then we wouldn't score. We had that one possession where we had like 4 baseline out of bounds, and like we didn't convert. You gotta capitalize, or you get a foul draw and get to the free throw line. And I thought they were way more disciplined, Princeton, than they were in the prior game that we just had against them. But again, like that's what it's not just playing the game. There's like the atmosphere, your nerves. Like it's a championship game. This is our first Ivy League championship tournament ever to win, right? So I think people forget, like, yes, our program, I'm so proud of how far we've come, but, like I was at Princeton when we built that place. Like it takes time, and so I would just say, like, this is just another step in the right direction for us. We have to know what this feels like, this group of people, so that it doesn't happen again. Yeah, so I don't know if I answered your question, Jen. I kind of went off a tangent there, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it was one play, honestly. I mean, I think the back-to-back ORB kickouts, the threes, those were tough.
Your tangents are always fun with me.
Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Just to follow up, as the leader, what do you say to them now? What do you say to them tomorrow? How do you kind of process yourself and kind of get them through this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a really honest person. I would say that I don't really sugarcoat things for them or for my staff, and to them, I just said, like, hey, like there was things that we challenged us with, like when we beat them the last time, and I felt like we stepped up to those challenges. And since then, we haven't been, I don't know if we were okay. I think we hadn't been the sharpest in some of our games, and I think we kind of turned it around this past week when we beat Cornell pretty big up at their place. But I think honestly, it's you still got to be in the moment to go win these games. And I thought we started a little slow yesterday against Harvard, which is a good team. And it's March; anything can happen right now. So I kind of like they just got to understand and accept where we're at, so that we can continue to go forward. Because there's season left, right? We know that. I'm hoping it's in the NCAA tournament. It should be in the NCAA tournament, but we'll see what happens. With that. But there's season left. We got to figure out what's the thing that we're going to do to respond.
Question back right.
Barry Sook, Pix 11 Sports. Coach, you talked about your personal resume and why it seems like you would be a deserving team, but just can you talk about the strength of this conference, with 2 very tight semifinal games, an upset earlier this morning by the 1 seed in the men's, about being more than a one big conference?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I was even talking to Carla before the game, and, Penn is playing their best basketball right now, and we beat Penn by 30 in February, and then they take Princeton to the wire, and who knows whether or not that was a charge or not. That could have been a tie game, right? And so I think this was one game today that doesn't define our season. And I think everybody could say the same when you look around. But, like, you know, this conference is, you know, I think in the non-conference, we were the 7th best conference in the country, right? I'm not sure where that stands right now. But, you know, we got some really great ball players in this league. The league keeps getting better. And I'm just really hoping we don't continue to get penalized for being in the Ivy League, which is never going to change. So I can tell you that it's really great basketball. We've got pros in our league. And, you know, again, I hope the tournament and the committee understands, like, they got to give us a chance to showcase that, because I know we can go and beat a lot of teams in that tournament.
Thank you.
Second row on the left, right here.
Just what was your message in the locker room to them?
I mean, I told them I was heartbroken. I mean, I knew they were heartbroken. I was like, we're all heartbroken, you know, lots of tears. You know, I thanked Abby for everything that she's done to build this community and this program, and, you know, her teammates joined me in that, you know, along with our other 2 seniors, Nicole and Paige. But, you know, I think, honestly, it was just, we just had to be raw with each other. There was no message like, let's rah, you know, like, it was more, hey, what are we feeling? Let's meet each other where we're at. Let's tell each other the truth. And, like, we got to be able to handle that. And this team, that team, we've been here before. Like, we've had these talks before. So I think they handled it well. You know, I think Abby said it. They're still processing. I mean, this is not easy to accept or take, especially when you care so much.
Question back right.
Yeah, Takashi Williams, Columbia Daily Spectator. Yeah, just seeing Abby just kind of taking a lot of the fall, and along with her teammates when it came down to the reasons why you guys didn't come out with the win today. Just kind of speak on the character that not only shows from her, but also the team, and kind of what that speaks to when you're talking about the idea of growing the culture of college basketball, and college women's basketball specifically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my staff and I have worked really tirelessly to have a culture here, right? That's a buzzword. A lot of people talk about culture, but I can tell you, if you've been in this community, if you've been in our league, like, you know what Columbia women's basketball is. I'm not talking about our style of play. I'm talking about how we treat each other. I'm talking about how we treat this community, how we interact with the people, from the person that opens the door for you when you walk in the morning to the people that are cleaning up, you know, your trash at night, and everything in between in your day. And that's important to me. I told them that. I was like, when I recruited every single one of them, I don't want you just to be a great basketball player here. You know, I want you to be a great ambassador of this great university. And, you know, I think that's what you saw from Abby and from Kitty, and they're selfless. They're extremely selfless human beings. They take me well, which is a big task, and they handle each other well because we love each other, you know. And when you love somebody, you can tell them the truth, and that's what you have here. So, yeah, I mean, they're a fantastic display of what Columbia women's basketball is, and I think college women's basketball is in a fantastic place right now. You know, you could see by the turnout today that we had and last night. But, you know, yeah, they're just, you know, I'm really proud of them for how they carry themselves.
We have time for one more right here in the middle.
I'm Caleb Dye with the Columbia Daily Spectator. You could feel the energy from the crowd up until the last second. What has the Columbia community and that energy brought to the team throughout this entire season, and especially tonight?
I mean, they're like our 6th player. I've been saying that for a while now. It's a community that has become a legitimate college fan base. So many people, other coaches. I mean, Carla before the game was like, "Oh, Meg, like, that one little section's not filled. Like, what's happening?" Like, because they don't get fans like that. You know, like the team that's won however many championships, 17, 18, whatever it is now. Dartmouth, who's won 17, Harvard, right? Penn, they don't get fans like us. And so that's not a knock to anybody, but it just goes to show, like, what a community can do when they believe in something, when they feel like they're on a journey with you. And, you know, like, that's why I give huge credit to Peter Pilling, because he hired me when I was just a kid. I was 31 years old. I had this crazy vision. I told him I was going to come here and win championships. But I was like, we needed the community, and our players understood that. And, you know, they've immersed themselves not just in the campus, but, you know, the greater Harlem community, the Morningside Heights community. And we're seeing that in return. You know, you're seeing the support. You're seeing people come out. You're seeing them sign autographs after games, be stopped on the street. Like, that doesn't happen in New York City. So I'm extremely proud of that. And, you know, I think that's something that will sustain, because I don't think our program is going to change dramatically. Obviously, Abby is a huge part of what we did, but it's on to the next. We got to make sure that we continue to bring great, high-quality people to this program.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.